Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast. We cover everything Major League, from spring training to the World Series. We've got your favorite club covered, from New York to Boston to LA. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast.
What is up? Welcome into the GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Monday. My name is Tom Dougherty, your host. As always, this podcast is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Lots to get to after a busy week of baseball, as we're going to jump right in on a Monday here and give you the scores from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, talk a little bit about the NL Central race, which actually is the tightest race, I think is still the tightest race coming into today on Monday, with the Cubs only two games back of the Brewers in the Central. That's in the National League. The tightest race, obviously, in the American League is the Yankees and Red Sox, who come in today tied at the top. The Yankees have played quite a few four less games than the Red Sox have. The Red Sox at 52-27, the Yankees at 50-25. As they have both run away with that AL East and kind of run away. Houston actually has 52 wins as well. They have the same amount of both the Red Sox and the Astros. Both are 52-27 on the year. So first two teams, those are the first three teams to reach the 50-win plateau. The next up is actually maybe the Mariners. They're at 47 wins. The Brewers had the best record in the National League, that 45-32. So they're a little bit further away as well. So we'll get to those scores right now. We'll start on Friday with the Giants and the Padres. The Padres got this one after the Giants got game one of that series. On Thursday, the Padres win behind a nice pitching performance from Clayton Richard, the left-hander who's seemingly always been on the Padres on his career. He went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs on 3 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts for Richard, and the bullpen was excellent as they pitched 3 scoreless innings to finish off that one and get the win for Richard. For the Giants, it was Chris Stratton also pitched pretty well. He went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs, 3 total, 2 earned, 9 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts for Stratton. He gets the loss. He's 8-5 on the year. Richard, that's his 6th win of the season, as the Padres get by the Giants 6-2. Any home runs in that game? I don't think there was a home run in this game. Nope. And then A's and White Sox, there probably were home runs in this game, as the A's win 11-2, shot behind Sean Manaea. They beat up on James Shields, who just, I don't know what James Shields is doing. I think I kind of figured it out a little bit with the fact that he might just like living in Chicago and making a lot of money, but he's 2-9 now with a 4.59 ERA, as he only lasted 4 2/3 innings after giving up only 2 earned runs, but 8 total, 6 unearned runs. Wow. That's some rough defense there at this in the South Side. Is that the White Sox committed 3 errors for the A's? Home runs by Barreto, the rookie. That's his 2nd and 3rd home run of the year on Friday as well. Those were both off of, or one was off Shields, a 3-run shot, and the one was off Avilan, also a 3-run shot. So I think the first home run he hit was a 3-run homer as well. So he said 3 3-run homers to start off his career now with the A's coming up from AAA just a few days ago. Sean Manaea was excellent, as he went 7 innings, only led 1 run on 5 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts for Manaea, as he gets his 7th win on the season for the A's. In Pittsburgh, it was an extra inning affair there. The Diamondbacks win 2-1 after they took 13 innings to get this one done. It was a nice pitching performance, as all my stats just go away right now. From a Navon Nova, he went 8 shutout innings, 3 runs, 3 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts. He was excellent. Obviously gets no decision. Patrick Corbin was excellent as well. 7 shutout innings for him, as he went 3 hits, no walks, 12 strikeouts for Corbin, as he was on fire. I mean, this guy, when he gets in a groove, he is pretty much unhittable. As Patrick Corbin, that is the left-hander there for the Diamondbacks. As far as how the runs scored, nobody scored until the top of the 11th inning. It was a scoreless game until the top of the 11th. Both teams scored there in the 11th, and then the bottom of the top of the 13th, Kensel Marte singled home a run. That was the decider. The Phillies beat up on the Nationals 12-2 in D.C. on Friday, as they beat up on Tanner Roark for a bunch of runs. They scored 2 runs in the first, in the third, in the fifth, and in the fourth, and the sixth. Oh, they scored 3 in the eighth as well. Bryce Harper, leading off again, went 1 for 3, as his average still dwindles around 214 right now. For the Phillies, home runs by Odubel Herrera, his 13th of the year. Carlos Santana, his 12th. Knapp, his 2nd of the season. For the Phillies, they win 12-2. Starter for the Phillies was Zach Eflin, as he went 5 innings, allowed 2 runs on 6 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, and his 5th win of the year. Reds beat the Cubs 6-3. Luis Castillo gets his 5th win. They beat Jose Quintana, who's not really panned out all that well for the Cubs in his career now in Chicago, on the north side of Chicago at least. For the Cubs, they got a home run from Kyle Schwarber, hit his 15th of the year. The Reds, Joey Votto, he did a double, but Eugenio Suarez got his 16th of the season, a 2-run shot off Quintana. Indians beat up on the Tigers 10-0, backing up Shane Bieber, who was pretty good. He got his 2nd win of the season. They beat up on Mike Fiers pretty badly. Francisco Lindor hit his 17th of the year. Edwin Encarnacion also his 17th, and Alonso hit his 12th of the season there for the Tribe out there in Cleveland. Yonder Alonso playing well still out there. Shane Bieber went 7 innings, shutout innings, as 4 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts is all he put up there, as he was excellent in Cleveland. In New York, the Mets could not get by the Dodgers. Dodgers win 5-2. Alex Wood gets the win, as the Dodgers scored 4 runs in the 6th inning there to get the win on the road. Jose Bautista hit a home run though for the Mets, his 3rd of the year. For the Dodgers, Cody Bellinger, his 13th, and Yasiel Puig, his 9th of the season for L.A. Rays beat the Yankees. The Yankees had a rough weekend in Tampa Bay, usually a place where they can play well, but they only were held to some low run totals in this one, as they 2-1 was the final on Friday. I think they got shut out also on Saturday, only their 2nd shutout. We'll get there in a second. But the Rays win 2-1. Yarbrough gets the win. He beats Sabathia, who was very good. I remember they start with that. You start with that kind of piggyback start. Remember, they have when it's the reliever going that 1 inning. Stanek started with 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout for him, as he came out and Yarbrough took over. For the Yankees, CC Sabathia went 5 1/3 innings, allowed 1 run, 2 total, 1 earned, 9 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and this one no home runs. Soccer. Red Sox and the Mariners, a little slugfest out at Fenway Park. 14-10 was the final, as the Red Sox scored 5 runs in the 7th inning to take the lead there, and they would go on and win. Obviously, with the big outburst from them. Nelson Cruz hit his 19th of the season. Ryan Healy, his 14th of the year for the Mariners. Cruz actually hit his 19th and 20th of this year. They see 2 home runs out there at Fenway Park. Brian Healy is 14th for the Red Sox. Got a home run from J.D. Martinez, his 23rd of the season, as he continues to lead the league. Orioles beat the Braves in Atlanta in extra innings. It took 15 innings for this game to get decided. It was 7-7 for quite a while. The Orioles scored 6 runs in the 9th inning, as they were trailing heavily in this one. He scored 6 times in the 9th inning to take the lead, and then the Atlanta came back, scored 4 in the bottom of the 9th to tie it up. 7-7 went scoreless, and then the Orioles scored 3 runs in the top of the 15th to take the lead and win. Home runs in this game, because we're not going to bother with the pitching lines. Chris Davis hit his 5th of the year. Manny Machado his 19th of the season. The Braves did not hit a home run, so they were all in the park kind of stuff. But to talk about a crazy game, you think if you're the Braves, like, oh, wow. Or at least the fans are like, okay, this is no way this is going to be an extra inning game. Oh, they go 15 after scoring 6 in the 9th for one team, 4 for the other team. That's crazy. Royals beat the Astros 1-0, of all things. The Astros got shut out. Wow, that's crazy. As they lose at home, getting shut out at home, very rare. And this one is they were only held to 2 hits in this game. as they could not really back up Dallas Keuchel, who pitched very nicely. He went 6 shutout innings, 6 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. But he was outdueled by Danny Duffy, who went 6 innings, no runs, 2 hits allowed, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. The bullpen for the Royals was excellent as well. The only run in this game scored on a Rosell Herrera triple in that was all the way in the 9th inning, actually. So nobody scored till the 9th inning, and that's where the lone run was able to score and get the win there for the Royals. Cardinals could not get past the Brewers. Brewers win 2-1 as they scored a run in the bottom of the 9th inning to win this one on a walk-off fashion, as it was a Jesus Aguilar home run, his 16th, actually his second of the game. He hit 2. He is all the scoring for the Brewers in this one. He hit his 15th and his 16th of the season to get the Brewers the win in that one, as it was a nice pitching performance from Junior Guerra. Gets the no decision, though, because runs scored obviously late. In this one, with 5 innings, led 1 run on 3 hits, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts for the young pitcher there. Jack Flaherty also pitched very nicely. 7 innings, 1 run allowed, 1 hit. Just that home run. That's it. No run support for him. 2 walks, 13 strikeouts, as he was electric out there in Milwaukee, but he gets no decision as well. Rangers beat the Twins 8-1. In Minnesota, as they continue to mire along there. These two teams kind of at the bottom of their, or the middle of their, at least in the middle of their divisions. But for the Twins, no home runs, but the Rangers got a home run from Sin-Soo Choo, as they backed up Mike Minor, who pitched very nicely, allowed only 1 run over 6 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts for him. Rockies beat up on the Marlins 11-3. John Gray gets the win as he pitched nicely, kind of trying to bounce back a little bit here. For the Rockies, home runs, as they got obviously a big outpouring. They scored 6 runs in the 4th inning. That really put that game away pretty much, as they got a home run from Nolan Arenado, his 17th of the season in that 4th inning. That was the only home run of the game. As we're going to move on. The last game on Friday, Angels beat the Blue Jays 2-1 behind a nice pitching performance from Andrew Heaney. He gets his 4th win of the year, as the Angels were able to score 2 in the 1st inning, and that's all they needed to win this one. 2-1 was the final on Friday. And then quickly on Saturday, to get in before the first 2 segments, we're going to go through these games. For Saturday, Giants beat the Padres 5-3. The Padres tried to come back on this one a little bit, but they were held short in the 9th inning, as the Giants got the last out and got the win there in San Francisco, backing up a nice pitching performance from Andrew Suarez. He gets no decision because the game was decided a bit later. Giants were able to take the lead late, but Suarez allowed only 1 run on 8 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, as he pitched 5 2/3 innings nicely for the rookie. He only gave up the 1 home run. That was to Hunter Renfroe, his 4th of the season for the Padres. A's beat the White Sox 7-6 in Chicago, as they scored late, breaking the tie in the top of the 8th inning to win that one 7-6. Rangers beat the Twins 9-6 in Minnesota, as they get a bunch of runs there in the actually they got a bunch of runs in the 2nd inning, the 6-run 2nd inning. The Twins tried to come back a little bit, but they were held short in this one. Home runs, Eddie Rosario for the Twins. Logan Morrison also hit his 8th for Minnesota. And then for the Rangers, Robinson Chirinos, his 9th. Adrian Beltre, his 4th of the year for the Rangers. Marlins beat the Rockies 6-2 in Colorado, as they scored 5 times in the 7th inning to get the win there in the Mile High City, as they were trying to get. They're trying to play a little bit of a ruiner here in the season. Whether it's the Marlins, obviously they can get wins either way. Gerardo Parra hit his 4th of the year for the Rockies. For the Marlins, Derek Dietrich his 10th, and JT Realmuto his 10th as well in this game. A grand slam for Realmuto in this one, as the Marlins get the win. Diamondbacks beat the Pirates 7-2 in Pittsburgh, as they scored 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd. Really set the tone in this one. They would not relinquish the lead in this one, as Zach Greinke gets his 7th win of the season. He was excellent. The Phillies beat the Nationals 5-3 to back up Aaron Nola and get him his 9th win of the year. His ERA now down to a 2.58 on the season. He was excellent on Saturday, as the Phillies continuing to play well against the Nationals. I mean, Nolan went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts for the Phillies right-hander. the young ace there in Philadelphia. I mean, they were in the nation's capital for the game, but he's been a guy who's going to really be a good backbone for that rotation for a long time. And home runs in this one, Carlos Santana hit his 13th of the year for the Phillies. Anthony Rendon, his 8th of the season for Washington in the losses. The Nationals continue to struggle a little bit. They can't really string much wins together. All right, we'll do the rest of the scores and the games from Sunday on the other side of the break, so everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
All right, welcome back. GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Monday today. We're going over the scores from the weekend. A nice little weekend in baseball. Obviously, we have the College World Series going on right now. Lots of good stuff going on as we come to the end of June here, as we get into the dog days of summer, and we're just going to start getting hot across the country. And these guys are really going to have to hunker down and get used to it for this long baseball season. As it is a marathon, not a sprint. What I always say, we'd like to make sure that everything is works out over time. You know, baseball, you kind of have to like roll with the punches, injuries, all kind of stuff that happens with it. It's a long season, and we're getting to a time here where it might get a little tough, get a little draining, and we like to keep it fresh here, so we like to keep it going with these scores as we were doing in the last segment. We finished off with that Braves and Orioles game. I think that was the last one with the Phillies, Nationals, Braves, Orioles, and the Cubs and Reds. Cubs are having a tough time. They're having a little tough time against the Reds right now. Reds beat them again, 11-2, as the Cubs really did struggle in this game. Only 6 hits, 2 runs on 6 hits, and this one, Reds scored 11 runs on 11 hits. Talk about efficiency there for Cincinnati, but they had a good little pitcher going, and Anthony DeSclafani gets his 3rd win of the season, goes 6 1/3 innings, allowed 2 runs on 3 hits, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. Did give up a couple of home runs, but those are the only blemishes on his record. For the Reds, home run, Tucker Barnhart hit his 15th of the year. DeSclafani hit a home run himself, his first, and Joey Votto hit his 8th of the season. DeSclafani hit a grand slam in this game, the pitcher hitting a grand slam off the Cubs. Wilson Contreras hit a home run for the Cubs, his 5th, and Ben Zerwas also hit his 5th in a loss for Chicago. But yeah, giving up a grand slam to the pitcher can be kind of rough, and really dash your hopes for that game. The Rays beat the Yankees 4-0, as Wilmer Font was excellent in this one. He actually pitched like a starter. He's a reliever who actually went 5 2/3 innings, allowed no runs on 3 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Unless that's what the Rays are trying to do here, turning these guys, or turning at least him into a starter. Really stretching him out. He got up to 80 pitches in 5. That's why he was able to go that long in the game. He was very efficient and effective. Only 80 pitches in 5 2/3 innings pitched, as the bullpen was excellent. Only allowed 1 hit in their inning and a third of work. So, or 3 1/3 innings of work. So the Yankees again having trouble scoring runs. For the Rays, Adames hit his 2nd of the season, a solo shot, as that was the only homer in the game. As Sonny Gray pitched decently, 6 innings, 4 runs allowed, 6 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, that home run, and got the loss, because the Yankees, usually 4 runs, if you only allow 4 runs, and the Yankees will probably back you up, but they could not in that game. The Cardinals beat the Brewers 3-2. Miles Mikolas gets his 8th win of the season, as the Cardinals were able to score 2 runs in the 6th inning to take the lead, and they would hold it there. The Brewers were dealt a bit of a blow in this game, as Lorenzo Cain had to come out with a little bit of, I think they said it was groin tightness groin tightness for Lorenzo Cain. Hopefully he'll be all right. In this one, it was all Miles Mikolas, as he pitched very nicely for the Cardinals. 6 2/3 innings, 2 runs allowed, 3 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. I mean, that's pretty economical. I mean, 2 runs. I mean, it's about right. That's a good quality start. I mean, but 3 hits, only 3 hits the whole game for the Brewers. Home runs in this one, Yadier Molina hit 2 home runs off of the Brewers pitching his 10th and 11th, both one off Chase Anderson, one off of Jeffress to get the win there for the Cardinals. The Indians beat the Tigers 4-1 as they back up Trevor Bauer, who pitched very nicely in this one, gets his 7th win of the year as he lowers his ERA down to 2.44 on the season. A very nice little number there for Trevor Bauer, the product of UCLA. He went a 6 1/3 inning, 1 run allowed, 5 hits, 2 walks, 11 strikeouts on the day as he gets the win there at home. For the home runs, Francisco Lindor hit his 18th of the season. That was the lone home run in this one. The Astros come back to beat the Royals on a walk-off in the bottom of the 12th inning as they went 4-3 in this one. It was another struggle fest for the Astros. They did score 2 in the first, but that was after the Royals had scored 3 of their own. It was 2 in the fourth, but that was the Astros after the Astros had scored 3 of their own. As I looking at the box score, it cuts off. I'm like, oh, they went 12 innings, so it was deep. In this one, as like I said, the Houston tied it up in the bottom of the 9th inning with a Evan Gattis sacrifice fly, and then Carlos Correa hit a single to win the game in the bottom of the 12th inning. Home runs in this one, Yurli Gurriel hit his 3rd of the season, and Hunter Dozier hit his 4th of the year. That was the 3-run shot in the 4th inning for the Royals. All their runs in that game, they lose 4-3 and 12. Dodgers beat the Mets 8-3 behind. Actually, it was Caleb Ferguson who gets the win. Clayton Kershaw started this game, only lasted 3 innings, and this one I don't think he gave up 1 run and over 3 innings pitched. 2 runs over 3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts in his return. Remember, this is the start. He was supposed to make the rehab start, but he decided to skip that, come back to the majors, and face off against Jacob deGrom. It was kind of not the pitcher's duel we didn't think we were going to get. I mean, deGrom went 6 innings, 3 runs allowed, 5 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, gave up that home run. That was to Max Muncy in the first inning to kind of set the tone there for the Dodgers as DeGrom. They got DeGrom early, but I mean, he gets lost, only his 3rd of the season because the Mets weren't really able to do much. The Dodgers got another big home run in this one, a pinch hit grand slam by Matt Kemp in the top of the 8th to really put that one away for the Dodgers. The Mariners beat the Red Sox 7-2 in Boston. Mike Leake pitched nicely, got his 8th win of the year as he holds that tough Red Sox lineup scoreless for 8 innings, 8 shutout innings for Mike Leake, 3 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. The only runs scored for the Red Sox were in the 9th inning when the game was pretty much already decided. Home runs in this one I don't think there were any. There were no home runs in this game. Shocker for either team. So we'll go on to the Blue Jays and Angels game, the final one on Saturday, as the Blue Jays beat the Angels 4-1 in LA, as the Toronto scored early and then they caught 3 runs actually after the game was tied. The Angels tied it up in the bottom of the 8th, 1-1. The Blue Jays scored 3 runs in the top of the 9th to take the lead there and get the win. Luis Valbuena tied it up in that 8th inning with the home run, his 9th of the year. Blue Jays got home runs from Toscar Hernandez, his 13th of the season, and Steve Pearce, the tie-breaking home run in the 9th inning, a 3-run shot to make it. That was his 4th of the season for the Blue Jays. And then on Sunday, we had another walk-off for the Giants. Actually, this one was a walk-off in San Francisco. Hunter Pence, of all people. Hunter Pence has been, being out here, you get a lot of the sports talk for the Bay Area and stuff, and fans and DJs and, talk radio hosts all have to say their stuff. And Hunter Pence is not getting nice things said about him. Especially with him taking up a roster spot there for the Giants. Being a fan myself, I'm just like, this is going to be interesting whether they're going to have to deal with him on the roster the rest of the season, or he's going to take his way and they're going to move him out so he can get some younger guys in there. But he came up clutch on Sunday as the Giants get the win 3-2 on a walk-off double by Hunter Pence. They were down 2-1 after the Padres took the lead in the top of the 11th inning on a Corey Spangenberg single. But the 2 runs before that, those were the 2 home runs in this game, and Mel Margot hit his 2nd of the season. Corquis Hernandez, his 9th of the year, to tie it up, and then the 2 other runs were scored, or the 3 of the runs were scored in the 11th inning there on the Hunter Pence double to win the game there for the Giants, and they win 3-2 in San Francisco. Actually, the pitching performances were pretty good, too, in this game. Quickly, there was the rookie Derek Rodriguez pitching for the Giants. He went 7 innings, allowed 1 run on 4 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. The only blemish was the home run. And then Eric Lauer also was pretty good. 6 innings, allowed 1 run on 5 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, also the home run, being his only blemish of the game. Red Sox come back to beat the Mariners after dropping the game on Saturday. They beat them 5-0 on a great pitching performance by Chris Sale, as he goes 7 shutout innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 13 strikeouts for Sale. Mitch Moreland hit his 11th of the season, a 2-run shot, as that really set the tone, or got the Red Sox going, and they win 5-0 there in Boston. Cubs still having trouble with the Reds. The Reds win again. They scored 7 runs in the 7th inning to take the lead. The Cubs were up 6-1, and they set bottom of the 7th inning, and the Reds scored 7 times. Wow. And the comeback to win and sweep the Cubs at home there in Cincinnati. They got home runs from Lorenzen, his 1st of the season. Winker, his 5th of the year for the Reds. The Cubs got a home run from Anthony Rizzo, his 12th, and Albert Almora Jr., his third of the season. Again, the Cubs, that's a rough weekend for them, especially when you have a lead like that. You might be able to salvage a win in Cincinnati. You blow it there. The Indians beat the Tigers 12-2 in Cleveland on a nice pitching performance by Plutko there, the young right-hander for the Indians, as he went 6 innings, led 2 runs on 6 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts for him. He gets his 4th win of the season. The Indians played home run derby there at home, as Francisco Lindor hits his 19th of the season, Jose Ramirez his 23rd of the year, Jason Kipnis his 7th, and Edwin Encarnacion his 18th of the season in the win there for the Indians. The Tigers did not get one out of the park. Dodgers beat the Mets in 11 innings. In this one, they scored a run in the top of the 11th after the Mets tied it up in the bottom of the 8th with 3 runs after the Dodgers took the lead, and the Mets then tied it up. The winning pitcher is Daniel Hudson, actually, in relief, his 2nd win of the season. It was Rich Hill was started for the Dodgers. The Mets actually went with the bullpen. They really went with a full bullpen game in this one, as it was Blevins actually who started it, went 2 innings, and they had a couple other guys go 2 innings as well to get to the back end of the bullpen, but they were able to hold on. Home runs in this game. Max Muncy hit his 15th of the season for the Dodgers. 2 home runs for Kike Hernandez, his 11th and 12th. There was a bunch of Cody Bellinger hit 2 as well, his 14th and 15th of the season. Jock Peterson his 10th of the year, and Turner his 3rd of the year as the Dodgers. Wow, that's a lot of scoring, a lot of home runs there. As they pretty much what's that, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 home runs for the Dodgers. As then for the Mets, they had Asdrubal Cabrera hit his 13th, and Plutko hit his 1st of the season. And that's Homer Palooza. It was only 8-7 was the score, but I mean, when you score all your runs on home runs, that's how it works. Yankees can't beat the Rays. The Rays sweep the Yankees in Tampa Bay. They win 7-6, a walk-off to win the game. In the bottom of the 12th inning, it was again Yarbrough pitching in relief that got the win for the Rays. Home runs in this game. It was a Adonis Echeverria, his 3rd of the year, and Bowers, his 2nd of the year. That was in the 12th inning. That was to win the game there for the Rays. Jake Bowers, a solo shot to win the game 7-6. Giancarlo Stanton also added his 19th of the season, and that was it as far as Miguel Andujar, his 11th of the year as well. So 2 couple home runs for each team, but the Yankees get swept in Tampa. You think you go to Tampa and you're like, oh, we can at least get 2 or 3, maybe even a sweep here for the Yankees because they're just the better team and they play well in Tropicana. But that's a rough weekend for New York as they drop all 3 in Tampa Bay. The Diamondbacks beat the Pirates 3-0 as they got a great pitching performance from Clay Buchholz. He came out there and pitched excellent against the Pirates. 5 innings, no runs, 2 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts. The bullpen took care of the rest. Home runs in this game for the D-backs. David Peralta, his 15th, and then John Ryan Murphy, his 9th of the season for the Diamondbacks. Pirates could not scratch across the run at all in this one. Braves beat the Orioles 7-3 behind a great pitching performance from Brandon McCarthy, as he gets his 6th win of the season. 5 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts, a couple home runs he gave up. And this one, that one was to Trey Mancini, his 10th, and Mark Trumbo, his 8th of the season. The Braves got home run from Dansby Swanson, his 7th of the year, a 2-run shot in the 8th inning that kind of put that game away for good as the Braves win 7-3. Astros, there you go. They beat up on the Royals 11-3 in Houston. Garrett Cole, his 9th win. He's now 9-1 as he beats Hamill in this one. As Cole went 5 innings, 1 run allowed, 2 hits, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, gave up 1 home run. That was to Lucas Duda. And for the Astros, they hit a couple home runs. Yuli Gurriel, his 4th, and Evan Gattis, his 15th of the season for the Astros. Evan Gattis having a great little year there in Houston. Last game, or a couple more games on the day here today to get to. We'll do those on the other side. So everybody stay tuned. We'll run through those games really quickly. Stay tuned.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast. We're still going through the scores from the weekend. It was a big weekend in baseball. I like going through the scores, giving you guys updates on the home runs and stuff. That's the fun stuff in baseball as we are on the A's and White Sox game. White Sox win 10-3 in Oakland as the A's could not really figure out. And Carlos Rodon, he was pitched very, very nicely. Went 8 innings, 2 runs allowed, 7 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts. The only blemish was really a Mark Canha home run, his 10th of the season. Chase Blackburn for the A's. Went 5 innings, but he got kind of beat up in this one as Paul Blackburn in this one. 5 innings, 6 runs on 8 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts, a home run allowed as well. That was to Palka, his 7th of the year. The White Sox also got a home run from Sanchez, his 5th, and Yoan Moncada, his 10th of the season, a 3-run shot there, as that really blew the game open for the White Sox. In Milwaukee, the Cardinals beat the Brewers as they continue to make their way back. Don't forget about the Cardinals; they're still there out there in the NL Central. We're going to talk about them in just a few minutes here when I'm done with these games, but. They win again as they back up Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver was nice. He went 5 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 1 home run allowed, 9 strikeouts. The home run he allowed was a Christian Yelich solo shot, his 10th of the year. The Cardinals also got a home run from Jose Martinez, his 11th of the season. That was a 3-run shot, so that was a big deal as they really piled it on the Brewers there in Milwaukee. 8-2 the win for the Cardinals. A shutout victory for the Twins as they win at home 2-0, beating the Rangers behind a nice pitching performance from Jose Barrios. He went 7 shutout innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 12 strikeouts for the young right-hander as he gets his 8th win of the season, lowers his ERA down to 3.15. A nice little. You might see him in DC. I don't know. The Twins do need a representative. They've had some other people who actually playing pretty well this season as well. So they've got Rosario's hitting 320. I mean, he'll probably find his way to DC as well. But Bartolo Colon, the ageless wonder, gets the loss here, but he actually was pretty good. 7 innings, 2 runs allowed, 7 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. No homers in this game as there's only 2 runs total in the whole game. Marlins beat the Rockies 8-5 as they came into Colorado and actually played some good baseball against the Rockies and hit the long ball along with them. Derek Dietrich hit his 11th of the year for the Marlins. That was a solo shot in the second inning to kind of set the tone. Nolan Arenado, watch out, he's heating up as he hit his 18th of the year, 2-run shot. Eduardo Parra also hit a home run, his 5th of the season in the loss. The big runs came for the Marlins, and this one that was actually they scored all throughout the game. 3 in the first, 2 in the fourth, 2 more in the 7th, a single run in the second on the home run, but Dietrich almost hit the cycle as he had 4 hits in the win for Miami. Toronto beats the Angels 7-6 in 10 innings, as it was a pinch hit home run from Kendrys Morales that really put the Jays over the limit there in the top of the 10th inning to give them the lead. They also had home runs from Travis, his 5th of the year, Diaz, his 7th, Curtis Granderson, his 7th of the year as well. Justin Upton hit his 17th of the season for the Angels, as they still can't figure out a way to win, as the Blue Jays came in to get 2 out of 3 from them in Anaheim, as they leave now with that walk-off victory, or with that go-ahead victory late in the game, extra innings. Nationals get a win against the Phillies. They salvage a game as Daniel Murphy, back from the injury, gets his first multi-hit game of 2018, as they scored 3 in the bottom of the 8th inning to take the lead, and also tie and take the lead in this one. Home runs by Rhys Hoskins, his 11th, and Nick Williams, his 9th for the Phillies. Anthony Rendon hit his 9th for Washington as they get the win late in this game. The starting pitching for both teams didn't really last. Nick Pivetta went 5 innings, allowed 2 runs on 8 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, gave up a home run, and then it was actually Rodriguez for the Nationals. They had a spot starter in this one. Jeffrey Rodriguez came and pitched, as he went only 4 innings, allowed 4 runs in his time there. All right, that was the last game on Sunday. Nationals get the win 8-6. All right. Getting in some talk on the College World Series really quickly here. I want to do an update before we get into some more talk on the Major League Baseball side of it. But the matchup has been set. The Oregon State Beavers have beat Mississippi State twice. Florida was eliminated earlier on Friday, as they could not get past Arkansas. They had to beat Arkansas twice. Arkansas wins game 1 to knock out the Gators and get to the college baseball World Series, to the final of that series there in Omaha. It'll start today, actually, game 1 of that 3-game set. It's all wiped clean, so no double elimination or nothing. It's just a classic 3-game series for the championship. It'll be the Arkansas Razorbacks and the Oregon State Beavers, as they will play today over at TD Ameritrade Ballpark in Omaha. It was a nice one. It was Oregon State, they had to do what they had to do. They have all the talent. They have they have Nick Madrigal, the top draft pick. They have a couple different guys, I think, in the first round as well. So, they'll have a top early pick next year as well with their catcher. Adley Rutschman is a very, very talented catcher there. He'll be in the draft next year, and likely a top 5 pick, probably, because from the catching position there, he's very talented. Switch hitting catcher. We haven't seen one of those since Joe Mauer really on that top level where I talked about. There's switch hitting catchers out there. The Giants have had one, but they, this is a guy who you're going to hear about in the future for a while, and he's going to be playing today against Arkansas. Arkansas, this is the 5th. They were the 5th seed. They played the 1 seed. They had the advantage. They had to get beat twice. They had that backup game just in case. They didn't need it, as they took care of Florida in the first game. But then Oregon State, again, they're the 3rd seed. They were the 3rd seed in the tournament against an unseeded Mississippi State team. I think it was just kind of Mississippi State never put them away. They never really had a big inning. Oregon State had a big inning on the first game, obviously beating them. I think 12-2 was the final in the game 1, and then in game 2 was good baseball, very fundamental baseball, clean baseball. I think it was a 5-1 win or 6-1 win to win that game. In the game 2 of that a little semifinal kind of thing, they call it a double elimination round, because you do have to beat them twice if you are coming from the bottom bracket. But this is a team in Oregon State who I think is going to have a great chance against Arkansas. Obviously, they have all the good bats. The pitching is a little bit deeper, I think, as well. Oregon State, but But I mean, Arkansas, I think they threw their main guy against Florida. I mean, hopefully, I don't think he'll be ready for game 1. He'll probably be ready for game 2 or 3 if it's necessary, game 3. But you definitely want to get, I mean, if you're Arkansas, you want to get game 1. You want to get game 1 real bad, because then you want to put Oregon State right back on the pressure in the pressure cooker like they were against Mississippi State. Obviously, they fared pretty well with the facing elimination. But if you can get game 1 at Arkansas, you definitely can increase your chances of getting by a very, very, very talented Oregon State team with a very, very good coach who's been around for quite a while. Also has a couple national championships under his belt there with the Beavers. So back to the major leagues, back to the pro side of things. The NL Central, what a weird weekend for the NL Central. There was, because we had Brewers Cardinals over the weekend. I think the Brewers, they took 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals over the weekend, or was it vice versa? I just go through the scores. It's sometimes the individual stuff gets by me, but the Cubs, I know they got swept by the Reds. So, I mean, the Cubs got swept by the Reds. They take a bit of a step back over the weekend, or kind of a step back. I think they'll be fine eventually throughout the rest of this. We got a long season ahead of us still, but if you're your team trying to get into first place, so it was a 4-game series for the Brewers and Cardinals. They split 2-2. So there you go. Brewers got the first 2. Cardinals got the second 2. So, I mean, that will stay. That's easy and keel. Cardinals can't really gain any ground. Brewers can't stretch it out anymore. I mean, they do actually I think they stretched it out by 1 game. They did stretch it out 1 game against the Cubs, because the Cubs lost, obviously, all 3 against the Reds. But, so it's going to be a weird end. I think the Cubs probably will be the ones to poke their heads out on top. I don't think the Brewers pitching is just not. They can hit. They got a good bullpen. They got that Hader guy in the bullpen there. So, I mean, if they can play that bullpen game. But if their starters are having a rough go of it at the beginning of the game, especially in that park, if you don't get into your groove early, you can get, all of a sudden you'll be down 5 runs in the second inning. So, obviously they lead the league in wins in the National League, so they know what they're doing. Craig Counsell's got a good thing going over there. But you got to be able to play the Cubs, and if the Cubs are going to keep doing what they're doing, I think I'll be wrong. They're not going to be the ones to poke their heads out in front at the end of the year. If they can't beat the Reds, this was a weekend where they could have gained ground. Gained a lot of ground. They beat the Reds. Actually, I mean, the Brewers lost the second 2 games. They lost on Saturday and Sunday. So the Cardinals gained some ground. They're only 4.5 back now. The Cubs lost 4 in a row. So, I mean, they're definitely not going the right direction. Eventually, I think you'll see the Cardinals maybe flip-flop in front of them. But don't forget about the Cardinals. They got the pitching. I think the best rotation in that division is the St. Louis Cardinals with Miles Mikolas, Flaherty, Weaver. When Jose Martinez is healthy, hopefully you got Wainwright still. So I think that's the best rotation of all 3 of those teams on the top of the Central, even though they are the 3rd team right now. The Brewers, I just don't think that rotation is going to hold up. They might need to get somebody. They're going to need to get a J Happ maybe from the Blue Jays, or get I'm trying to think who is really the big guys out there. They're going to be traded coming in the next few weeks. But J Happ's definitely one of them, or maybe even a guy like Cole Hamels. Cole Hamels would be a nice addition for the Brewers. He's got championship and playoff experience. Obviously, he needs to get on a team where he actually can be utilized correctly. With I'm not saying the Rangers don't use him, but it's not winning, so he's kind of just down there having some fun. But yeah, so the NL Central is going to get shaken up by the trade. I think the trade deadline is going to have a big deal with these 3 teams. All 3 of them are probably going to be making deals come next month. All right, going quickly over the Red Sox before we get to the next segment. We're going to preview the games for Monday and Tuesday. But the Red Sox, they got a nice little boost from the Rays this weekend. The Rays obviously sweeping the Yankees. The Red Sox, like I said, it's going to come down to who can beat up. I mean, the Yankees didn't do what they needed to do. They needed to beat up on the Rays. I don't care if you're playing them on a home or the road. When it's this tight and the premium of winning your division is so high, like if we were in the old rules where it's like, okay, wild card, whatever. No, the Yankees and Red Sox, if you are a Yankee or Red Sox fan, you want to win the division so bad. The last thing you want to do is to have to go into a freaking one game playoff, and whether it's going to be, I mean, the thing is that you're in the American League, so it kind of drops off actually for the second wild card, whether it's going to be the Mariners or the Angels I mean, looking at the American League wild card right now, it's just it's the Mariners and A's right now. I mean, the Mariners are actually 6 games clear of the Angels who are in third place. So, I mean, it kind of, like I said, it drops off a lot in the American League when it comes to the wild card race. And in the National League, there's a bunch of stuff. I mean, you got the Cubs, Phillies, Dodgers, Nationals, Giants, Cardinals, Rockies, all involved. Giants are only 3 games back right now, and they're 4 spots behind the Phillies, who are the second wildcard team right now in the National League. So we have a lot more parity in the National League as far as it, but you still want to get caught up. If say that the Mariners do actually get through and hold off whoever's behind them in the wild card race, get that second wild card. Now you got James Paxton, and James Paxton we've seen the guy's got good stuff. He can get through a Yankees lineup. He can get through. I mean, honestly, if this is thinking way too far ahead, but the Yankees have a lot of right-handed power in that lineup. So if you're Scott Service, I mean, over there with the Mariners, do you put King Felix in game 1 to face off again to get a righty going against all those righties? So this is way ahead of time. Obviously, we're saying the Yankees don't win the East, and we're saying the Mariners do get the second wild card. But I think the chance of that happening is good, because I think that the Red Sox will win the East. Honestly, I think their rotation is better. They don't lose 3 games in Tampa Bay like that. I mean, so if you're the Yankees, they're just volatile. They're very volatile. Yeah, they hit a lot of home runs, and it's great and all, but I think the Red Sox have a more rounded roster and are built to go deeper in the playoffs, and they're built to actually, I think, win this division. And like I said, it's going to come down to these games against the crummy teams, and it's going to come down to these games. Not that the Rays are crummy. Actually, the Rays are pretty good, honestly, for a lower level team, but they're playing pretty well right now. And but the Red Sox they're more well-rounded roster, better bullpen, better. I don't know about bullpens are pretty even, honestly, but better rotation. I think more well-rounded lineup, not relying on the home run so much. They get a lot of gaps there. There's a lot of speed, a lot more speed on that lineup. They got, obviously, with Bogarts and Betts and Brock Holt, you got tons of speed. So, and I actually like JD Martinez is having a better year, than Aaron Judge and Stanton, right? So just take that for thought. All right. We'll come back and do the preview for the games on Monday and Tuesday on the other side. So everybody stay tuned.
Want to know the latest in soccer? Then listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast. From MLS, the World Cup, and the Premier League, we've got you covered. The latest updates, the hottest matches, and news on the league's top players. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Soccer Podcast.
David Beckham scores the goal to take England all the way to the World Cup finals.
Listen now.
All right, welcome back to GSMC Baseball Podcast on a Monday, as we're going to go over the games for Monday and Tuesday. Short slate today, as some teams taking the day off. I know Giants are taking the day off, a rare home day off for some of these teams. As we have actually not that short of a slate, still 12 games, but not everybody going today, as we have the A's and Tigers from Detroit starting a series. There'll be Edwin Jackson making a start for the A's, as he was just signed, actually, I think, by Oakland, and came up made a couple starts, I think, for the minor league team. Now he's making his first start with the big league club. He'll face off against Jordan Zimmerman, who's 2-0 with a 4.95 ERA. In Kansas City, it'll be Tyler Skaggs against young starter Brad Keller for the Royals, as he goes. He's 1-2 with a 2.63 ERA, 24 strikeouts on the year. Skaggs 6-4 with a 2.81 ERA on the year. The interleague series this week will be a good one. It'll be the Yankees and the Phillies from Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. Today's game will be Jonathan Loaisiga, the young right-hander, who's making his third start of the year, his third big league start. As he did get beat up a little bit in his last time out. The first start was good, but he did have a no decision last time out against the Mariners. Vince Velasquez goes for the Phillies. He's 5-7 with a 4.82 ERA, 97 strikeouts on the season. In Baltimore, it'll be the Mariners continuing their their road trip out east, it'll be Felix Hernandez against Andrew Kashner for the Orioles. Hernandez 6-6 with a 5.14 ERA. He's got to get that down. But he's been pitching better. 76 strikeouts against Kashner. Is 2-8 with a 4.72 ERA on the year. Diamondbacks and Marlins from Miami. It'll be Shelby Miller making his first start since April 23rd, 2017, when he tore his UCL and had to get Tommy John. So he's making his first start back to rotation. Big deal there in Arizona, as they've been waiting for him with bated breath. He'll face off against Dan Straley for the Marlins. He's 2-3 with a 4.89 ERA on the year. In New York, it'll be the Mets and the Pirates from Citi Field. Jameson Taillon for the visiting Pirates. He's 4-6 with a 4.03 ERA. Seth Lugo is going for the Mets. He's 2-2 with a 2.85 ERA on the year. In Tampa Bay, it'll be another interleague series going. It'll be a couple of left-handers. This is a great pitching matchup, actually, in Tampa Bay. Gio Gonzalez against Blake Snell. Snell's been excellent this year. He's 9-4 with a 2.48 ERA, 103 strikeouts. He'll definitely be on his way to DC come next month for the All-Star game. Gio Gonzalez is 6-4 with a 3.08 ERA on the year, 80 strikeouts for him. In Atlanta, it'll be the Reds and the Braves. Tyler Mahle against Mike Fultonevich, a couple of young right-handers. Fultonevich is 5-2 with a 5-4 with a 2.16 ERA on the year. He's pitching very nicely. He'd have to go on the DL with that right triceps tightness. He's making his first start since coming back off the DL. 94 strikeouts on the year for him. Tyler Mahle is 6-6 with a 3.89 ERA on the year for the Reds. In Texas, another interleague game, the Padres and the Rangers get a series going. Joey Lucchesi, the left-hander for the Padres, against the lefty Cole Hamels for the Rangers. In Houston, it'll be the visiting Blue Jays coming over. They're doing their West Coast swing right now. They were just in Anaheim, now in Houston, as it'll be Jay Happ against Justin Verlander. Happ has been nice this season, 9-3 with a 3.56 ERA. I told you he might be a guy on the trading block come next month. Look for that for sure. And then Justin Verlander has been everything that the Astros have wanted. Obviously, he gets them a World Series ring last year. He's been excellent this season, as he's had 15 quality starts in his 16 outings this year, as he did have his third double-digit strikeout game of the year of the season last year. Last time out, actually, he's already got 130 strikeouts, as he's 9-2 with that 1.60 ERA on the year. Very nice. In St. Louis, it'll be there's 4 interleague series going on this week. It'll be the Indians and the Cardinals. Mike Clevenger for the Indians against John Gant for the Cardinals, a couple of right-handers with big long hair. And then in LA, it'll be the Cubs and the Dodgers. Not liking how the Cubs are coming into the series, but they're going to have a man making his Major League debut. Dwayne Underwood is going to come up and pitch against the Dodgers. He is the second-round pick back in the 2012 draft. He had an interesting little start to the year with the AAA team, and is making his first start now in the majors with the Cubs, and I'll be under the big lights in Los Angeles, of all places. And then Kenta Maeda will pitch for the Dodgers on the other side, as he makes another start. He didn't pitch very well against the Cubs in Wrigley, as gets no decision after he only pitched 3 2/3 innings. And then that was it for Monday. Going over to Tuesday, the pitching matchups for you, as the Giants and the Rockies will get a series started. It'll be Chad Bettis against Derek Holland out there in San Francisco. That Nationals and Rays will be a Max Scherzer start. He's 10-3 with a 2.09 ERA on the year. Very nice. He'll face Anthony Eovaldi. In Philadelphia, it'll be a nice. This is probably the pitching matchup of the day on Tuesday for sure. It'll be Luis Severino against Jake Arrieta out there. Severino 11-2 with a 2.24 ERA. Arrieta 5-5 with a 3.42 ERA on the year. In Baltimore, it'll be James Paxton going again for the Mariners against Jacob Gausman for the Orioles. In Miami, it'll be the Diamondbacks and the Marlins. The Marlins have not announced a starter yet for this game tomorrow, but they'll face Zach Godley for the Diamondbacks. He's 8-5 pitching. I mean, he kind of goes up and down. And he's got a 4.64 ERA, but it's really up to what pitches he has working that day. If he can locate the fastball and get work the curveball off with that, he'll be just fine. The Angels fly cross country and start a series off with the Red Sox in Boston, as it'll be David Price going for the Red Sox, and this one against John Lamb. Made a short notice start last time for the Angels, as he'll come up and do it again after Tyler Skaggs had that right hamstring tightness, but he'll do it again this time after pitching against the Blue Jays. So he'll face now a tough Red Sox lineup. So a battle of lefties out there in Boston tomorrow. Price is 8-5, by the way, with a 3.81 ERA, 82 strikeouts for him. In Detroit, A's and Tigers, Frankie Montas for the A's has been excellent since he got pulled up from Nashville, AAA Nashville, in late May, as he's 4-1 with a 2.41 ERA in the year, 21 strikeouts against Hardy. Left-hander is 3-1 with a 3.30 ERA, 30 strikeouts. He's making that kind of transition from the bullpen to the rotation. Pirates and Mets, it'll be Chad Kuhl against Steven Matz for the Mets. Kuhl is 5-5 with a 4.56 ERA, 77 strikeouts against Matz, who's 3-5 with a 3.68 ERA, 63 strikeouts on the year. In Atlanta, the Reds and the Braves go again. Matt Harvey for the Reds against Anibal Sanchez for the Braves, as the two veterans face off against each other. I mean, this is a matchup that actually has probably, seemingly has happened, but when they both were pitching for two different teams there, Anibal Sanchez. And then in Texas, that interleague series, Tyson Ross against Austin Devens-Jerks for the Rangers, as he got his first win last time out. And then Ross is 5-5 with a 3.34 ERA, 85 strikeouts for him on the year. He's been the best pitcher, one of the better pitchers for the Padres. Jacob Junis and Freddie Peralta will be the starters for the Royals and Brewers series tomorrow out in Milwaukee. It'll be Junis, who's 5-8 with a 4.43 ERA, 83 strikeouts against Peralta, who's 2-0 with a 2.30 ERA since being called up from the minor leagues, since joining that rotation. This is supposed to be that phenom for the Brewers. He could be a guy who, I told you the rotation needed help. He could be the guy. He's been very good in his short time here. In Chicago, it'll be the Twins and the White Sox getting a series started. Lance Lynn against Ronaldo Lopez for the White Sox. A couple of right-handers out there in the south side. In Houston, the Blue Jays and Astros going again. Blue Jays have not announced a starter, but they'll face Charlie Morton, who's been excellent. Has a little control problems last time out, but he can right the ship there and get that really big curveball over there for a strike. He'd be just fine. He's 9-1 with a 2.74 ERA, 109 strikeouts. That's what really makes a pitcher, honestly. When you don't have all your pitches or you're having some control issues, if you still can get through it and hold your 2.74 ERA, you're just going to be fine. It's nice when you have that's when you have a lineup like the Astros do, backing you up. It makes you confident. In St. Louis, the Indians and the Cardinals get going again. Corey Kluber, this is another great pitching matchup. A couple good ones on Tuesday. Corey Kluber against Carlos Martinez. If Martinez can get right, the Cardinals, look out. Corey Kluber is 11-3 with a 2.10 ERA, 113 strikeouts in the year already for him. Martinez 3-4 with a 3.24 ERA, 65 strikeouts. He's had stints on the DL throughout the year. Cubs and Dodgers finish up the slate of games on Tuesday. It'll be John Lester against Ross Stripling. Lester is 9-2 with a 2.10 ERA on the year, 70 strikeouts against Stripling, who's 6-2 with a 1.99 ERA, 85 strikeouts on the season. All right, that'll wrap it up for the preview for today's games. Actually, I do want to give you the little preview for the game happening in Omaha today. Actually, that's going to be the Arkansas Razorbacks against the Oregon State Beavers as they get that series started today in Omaha. It's going to be a big one for both those. Oregon State has been a baseball power for a while. They kind of went into hiding for a little bit, but they are now back on the big stage against an Arkansas team who I don't think have really been there recently. But both these teams had great regular seasons. Both these teams have had great runs in the playoff, and now it all comes to a boiling point here. I just want to give a couple of stat leaders for either team. For the Razorbacks, Heston Kjerstad has the most home runs. He's 14 home runs. He's at 335 with 57 RBIs on the year. And then there's For the Beavers, it's Larnach. For the Beavers, he's got 18 home runs, hitting 344, 75 RBIs on the year for those two guys. And then Adley Rutschman leads the team in RBIs for the Beavers with 80, and then that 57 RBIs does lead the team for Arkansas. Heston Kjerstad there for the Razorbacks, as they have been very good this whole time. I don't think they've lost a game. They were 2-0. Yeah, they've only played 3 games, and Oregon State's played like 5. Yeah, Oregon State's 4-1, and Arkansas's 3-0. So those teams, I mean, whether it's pitching rest or bullpen, we'll see if that comes into play at all during the series. But this has been a good show. We went over the games from the weekend, had a packed weekend. The Yankees got swept, the Cubs got swept by inferior teams. The Red Sox had a nice little series with the Mariners. We have also some good ones getting going this week. Obviously, a bunch of cool interleague stuff that we don't really get to see that often. These two teams that don't play each other all that often are going to get going in these cool interleague series. I think, like we said, Phillies, Yankees is one of them. We had Rangers and Padres, not the one really to write home about, but that's one. Indians, Cardinals, that'll be a good one this week as well. And then we have the Cubs in Los Angeles playing the Dodgers, not interleague, but still a big series with two big teams going at it out in Los Angeles at Chavez Ravine this week. So I'll be back on Wednesday to do a talk on the games that we just previewed for you today and tomorrow, and then we'll do the games for Wednesday and Thursday as well over there on the next show on Wednesday. So we'll see everybody on Wednesday. Have a good start to your week. Enjoy the baseball. Enjoy the College World Series. Go tune in. It's on ESPN. I think the game starts at 4th. I think it's at 5:30 Pacific, or is it 7 o'clock Eastern? Yeah, 7 o'clock Eastern. So for that game, Arkansas-Oregon State, game 1 of that College World Series final. So make sure you tune in for that one, and then we'll see you on Wednesday, and we'll do some talk on that as well. So everybody have a good weekend, or a good start to your week. Bye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Baseball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.